What is going on, everybody? It's your boy John, and welcome back to Gearbox. So last week y'all took a look at the video of replacing the air suspension on my 2019 Subaru WRX. It turned out great. Hopefully that video was helpful for everyone who is maybe thinking about jumping into the arena of dealing with suspension. It's really not that hard. And definitely excited with how it turned out. Now for part two of this video, and really this comes from a lack of information, at least on YouTube. I want to discuss the process of taking out an actual air suspension system. Everywhere I looked when I was trying to plan for this project, couldn't find anything. So what better opportunity for us to walk you through that? Just to give you an idea of where we're at right now. Obviously we have the struts out here as well as the air tank. Really the big thing that we're gonna be looking to accomplish today is one, remove the compressor and the 3P management system. That's not terribly difficult. What I think is going to be a little more involved is the actual wiring harness. So if I can get my keys right here, you will see, and I apologize for the absolute mess here, but here's the management. To my understanding, this management is wired through here. We already have it disconnected, so that'll be the start of the wiring harness. But to my understanding, that wiring harness is going to work its way through here and then go up here. And it's gonna work around here. My controller was right there, took that out, and then there's probably, obviously there's gonna be a battery connection. So really just working through that. And then the last bit we're gonna wanna do is the actual air lines under the car. It's not mandatory, I guess you could say, to get those air lines because they're really not in the way of anything. But to clean up the car, that is something we're gonna wanna do at some point. So let's stop the rambling here. Let's go ahead and start chasing this wiring harness, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so as it stands right now, we went ahead and took out the kind of all-weather protection mat as well as the carpeting. Pretty simple. Just wanted to give ourselves a little bit of a cleaner workspace to deal with right here. So right now, it looks like we've got the wiring harness here, and it is connected here. I would assume right under this shrink wrap here is where we're going to disconnect it. So I'm probably gonna deal with that later. I'm gonna go ahead and start to, let's see here, take apart this interior piece all the way down here. And that'll take up some time, but we should get full access into that wiring harness. And then from there, we'll go to the front seat. And then once we have all of the wiring harness actually in the trunk of the car, then I'll start dealing with, disassembling everything, so on and so forth. I really just want to get the wiring harness out of here. The rest of it's easy. Feel that the wiring harness is going to be a little bit more involved, and as you can probably tell, she's a little toasty out here today. So, gonna keep plugging along there. I'll set y'all up, and then trying to think if there's anything else we need to do. Actually, what we need to do first, we need to disconnect the battery since we are dealing with wiring. So let's go do that real quick. This little kick panel right here, and we can confirm that this braided line is the actual wiring harness. So what I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to minimize as much work as I possibly can. I'm going to leave this piece on, should be able to fish it through there. If it's not working, if it's not just taking it with a little tug, then I will go ahead and take the rest of it apart. But now I want to move on here, see if we can't do the same thing for this. And this might be problematic because I can't see the damn wiring harness. So give me a second, let me figure this shit out and I'll get back to y'all. Hopefully it's just under the carpet there, but who knows? I didn't put this thing in, so we are guessing at this point. So in order to get this carpet out, I've never done this before, but what I'm gonna do is just try to take a flathead. Yeah, that comes off pretty easy. So just want to get these little tabs removed, and then we should be able to kind of peel this back. What I did see though is, and I can't see it now, but see this wire here? This is coming from the actual controller. Yes, I just have two-sided tape on there. So I should probably disconnect this and start actually fishing the wire through and see where I can get. Looks like we're actually gonna have to take the carpet at least somewhat apart. Not ideal, but gotta do what you gotta do. So I'll set y'all up for some B-roll doing that. I apologize for the shitty lighting. It's kind of overcast here today, so I don't know, it is what it is. But gonna take it apart, honestly moving pretty quick. Once again, this is really the part that I just wanna get out of the way, and then the rest of it's super, super easy. Shouldn't take too much longer. We'll take it apart and we'll be good to go from there. Good news, we were able to find the wiring harness. It is in fact in here, but it is tucked pretty deep down. I don't know if you can see that in there. Had to fish this out a good bit. It was tucked up into all of that mess, which honestly, if I were doing this install, I would have done the same thing just because it kind of naturally pulls it up there. Don't need to add a bunch of zip ties or anything. But now my plan is to actually grab a hold of this and see what we can actually get accomplished here. I feel like this might be a two-handed job. So I'm gonna sit you down probably right here. Battery connections undone from the positive and negative terminals. What we are going to want to do is start to fish these through here, and this damn battery tie down is of course in the way, but if you see that mesh line right there, it's gonna go through the fender, down by the pedals of the car, and then we'll just be able to pull it out. Should be pretty easy, I think. Problem with that battery tie down is there is a fuse in the way connecting to the positive terminal, but shouldn't be too bad. I mean, if we have to take the battery tie down off, who gives a shit? But once we, in my opinion, once we get the wiring from here to there, it's super simple. It's really just taking apart little minor things within the car. Not a big deal, just more time consuming than anything. So let me go ahead, I'm gonna pull this through, and once we get to the actual driver's seat, we'll pick back up and we'll be cruising to the finish line, at least for the wiring harness, and then it's on to the easy stuff. Aha, I found a cheat code, okay? A little bit unorthodox, but we found a cheat code. Wheels off, got this little tab right here that might have broken when I would slam my car down on air suspension. And there it is. So, got to get that bastard of a zip tie real quick. Pull out the rest, at least, you know, while we have the wheel off, might as well keep it off. Pull it through, do the same thing. I've said it a million times. Let's just do it, screw it, zip tie, you're done. All right, so that was pretty much miserable. we got everything through here. That was okay. Now the problem was all of this wiring just got caught up in here, which made it difficult. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that this actually does have a fuse as well. It was right about there. So just something to keep in mind as you're lightly tugging on the wiring, trying to figure out where everything is. There is going to be a fuse. It's easy to get to, not a big deal, but last thing you want to do is pull on a wire and break it. But anyway, now that the hard part is done, I'm gonna put the wheel back on the car, continue pulling the wiring out, and then the rest of it, I don't know, guys. I mean, I literally might call it a day after this because, like, it's too damn hot outside. But regardless, we are going to button it back up, at least the front half of the car, start pulling, and we'll be wrapping up shortly. Now that we have all of the wiring out of the front, it's time to fish it from there to there. Here goes nothing. Now we're running into issues getting the wiring harness from here to here. I'm not really sure why, but I don't know, story of my life, I guess, of this video. But what we're going to do now is cut these bad boys and get the air compressor out. I'm thinking it might be easier to pull the wiring harness that way, but then again, we have this big thing. I don't know. Either way, I'm gonna do something productive until I figure that part out. Get the air compressor out of here and start tying up the actual trunk. That way that piece is done. Then once we get the wiring harness out, guys, we're good to go. All I'm gonna do is kind of clean everything down. I've got the hood, battery reinstalled and the shrouds and stuff put back together. Front interiors put together, really just the rear back kind of quarter panel piece, if you will, that's not together. So all in all, we're really wrapping things up. Just got to jump over one more hurdle, and that will be the uninstall process of the air suspension kit. And that is going to do it for another episode of Gearbox, guys. We went ahead and ended up having to take out the rear seat. Not too difficult. I just wish I didn't have to, obviously, but it was not pulling through without taking it out. So I guess a necessary evil in that case. But anyway, guys, if you found this video helpful on the uninstall process of an air suspension kit, please give this video a big fat thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, drop them down in the comment section below. Also, if you are in the market for a 2015 to 2019 or 2020 WRX air suspension kit, let me know. My email is in my channel. If you go to the main kind of page there, send me an email. We'll see if any of y'all get it. But anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. And until next time, peace.